You wake up, and for a few seconds your room feels wrong. The dream is gone, but the feeling is still there. Someone who was never beside you somehow feels like they just left. So why can a dream feel more real than life? The strange answer is that your brain does not stop building reality when you fall asleep. It keeps doing the same basic thing it does while you are awake. It creates a world for you to stand inside. But at night, it builds that world under different rules. The outside world is muted. Your body is mostly still. Your eyes are closed. The room around you is no longer feeding your brain a steady stream of correction. And yet, inside your head, something is still making places, people, voices, colors, danger, longing, memory, and fear. That is why the question is not really, why are dreams fake? The better question is, why does waking life feel real in the first place? Every moment you're awake, your brain is not simply recording reality like a camera. It is predicting, organizing, and interpreting. It takes signals from your eyes, ears, skin, body, and memory, then turns them into a believable scene. You do not experience raw light. You experience a room. You do not experience vibrations in the air. You experience a voice. You do not experience chemistry. You experience fear, comfort, embarrassment, love. Waking life feels real because your brain builds a model of the world and constantly checks that model against incoming evidence. Dreaming is what happens when the model keeps running, but much of the outside evidence goes quiet. That is the first secret. A dream is not just a picture. It is a closed world. The stage most people associate with vivid dreaming is REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement sleep. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, REM sleep is a state where brain activity becomes closer to waking. Your eyes move behind closed lids. Your breathing and heart rate become more irregular, and your arm and leg muscles are temporarily kept from acting out the dream. In plain English, part of your brain is strangely awake, while your body is kept asleep. That combination is uncanny. Your body is lying still in a dark room, but your brain can place you in a childhood house, on a train, underwater, in a city that does not exist, or beside someone you have not seen in years. And inside the dream, you usually do not question it. Why? Because the parts of the brain that make experience vivid are not the same parts that check whether the experience makes sense. Brain Facts, a public education project from the Society for Neuroscience, explains that while you dream, regions involved in sensory processing, memory, and emotion can be highly active, while regions involved in logic and reasoning are quieter. That sentence is almost the whole mystery. Your dream has sensation. Your dream has emotion. Your dream has memory. But the inner fact checker is not fully online. One key player is the thalamus. During much of sleep, the thalamus helps tune out the outside world, but during REM sleep, it becomes active in a different way, sending internally generated images, sounds, and sensations toward the cortex. That means your brain can create the feeling of seeing, hearing, and touching, even when the room around you is still. This is why a dream is not like thinking about a beach. It is more like being placed on one. You can hear something. You can move through space. You can feel urgency in your body. You can turn around and expect the world to continue behind you. Even if the beach suddenly becomes your school hallway, your brain often accepts the change. The dream is not trying to pass a physics exam. It is trying to remain experience-like. The visual system is especially important here. Dreams are often full of images because the brain areas involved in vision and scene construction can be active while you sleep. In 2017, neuroscientist Francesca Ciclari and colleagues used high-density EEG recordings and found that reports of dreaming were linked to activity changes in a posterior region of the brain. This area became known in popular explanations as a kind of dream hot zone. The important part is not that one tiny spot creates every dream. The important part is that dreaming does not require the whole brain to wake up. Local networks can become active enough to support conscious experience while the rest of you remains asleep. That helps explain a strange fact modern dream science has made clear. Dreams are not only a REM phenomenon. REM sleep is famous for vivid, emotional dreams, but dreams can also happen in non-REM sleep. The difference is often style and intensity. REM dreams tend to be more visual, emotional, and bizarre. Non-REM dreams are often more thought-like or grounded, though not always. So the real dividing line is not simply REM versus no dream. It is whether the brain systems that create a world have become active enough for you to be inside one. Now add emotion. This is where dreams become more than images. The amygdala, a brain structure deeply involved in emotional processing, becomes increasingly active during REM sleep. In a classic 1996 brain imaging study, Pierre McKay and colleagues found REM-related activity in regions including the thalamus, amygdala, anterior cingulate cortex, and pontine areas, along with reduced activity in parts of the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Translated into the language of a dream, that means the emotional alarm system can be loud while the careful reasoning system is softer. This is why a dream can make no sense and still feel important. You may be running from something you never see. You may be arguing with someone who keeps changing faces. You may find a door in your apartment that was never there before. In waking life, you would stop and question it. In the dream, the feeling often arrives before the question, and feeling is powerful evidence to the brain. If a dream makes your heart race, part of you treats it as real enough. If a dream gives you grief, part of you reacts as if something was lost. If a dream brings back someone you miss, your body may wake up with the emotional echo still playing. This is one reason dreams can feel more real than normal life, not because they are more accurate, because they are less diluted. Waking life is full of ordinary corrections. You are tired, you check your phone, you remember an appointment, you notice the ceiling fan. The world keeps interrupting your feelings with practical details. A dream does not always do that. It can compress a whole emotional weather system into one impossible scene. The dream does not need to be coherent to be convincing. It only needs to feel like something is at stake. But where does the content come from? Not from nowhere. Dreams are often built from real fragments. In 2023, Claudia Picard-Delan and colleagues studied memory sources in dreams using serial awakenings across different sleep stages and times of night. Their work showed that dreams can combine multiple memory sources, especially in sleep onset and REM dreams, and that recent memories from waking life often appear in altered form. That matters because your dream is usually not pure invention. It borrows the texture of your life, a face from years ago, a room from childhood, a worry from yesterday, a sentence you heard once, a feeling you never finished feeling. Your brain takes these fragments and does something strange with them. It does not label them clearly as memory. It presents them as now. That is why a dream can feel like a memory, a prophecy, and a hallucination all at once. It is made of familiar ingredients, but arranged into a temporary world. This is also why some dreams feel deeply personal. They are not messages from a hidden oracle, but they are not meaningless static either. They are made from your brain's own materials, your memory, your fears, your unfinished attention, your emotional priorities. In the 1970s, J. Allen Hobson and Robert McCarley proposed the activation synthesis model of dreaming. In simple terms, the idea was that the sleeping brain generates internal signals, and the forebrain tries to synthesize those signals into a story. That theory is not the whole story anymore. It does not explain everything we now know about non-REM dreaming, memory, emotion, and dream continuity, but it captured something important. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. Give it signals, and it makes a scene. Give it emotion, and it makes the scene matter. Give it memory, and it makes the scene feel like yours. Now imagine all of that happening while your reality checking system is dimmed. This is where lucid dreaming becomes interesting. In a normal dream, you're usually inside the world without recognizing it as a dream. In a lucid dream, some part of reflective awareness returns. You realize somehow that this is not waking life. Research by Mu-Rung Liu and Shi-Qin Cheng found that dream lucidity was positively related to reality monitoring, the ability to distinguish internally generated experiences from externally generated ones. That fits the everyday experience of lucid dreaming. The moment you realize you are dreaming, the world may still look vivid, but its authority changes. The dream continues, but now you have a witness inside it. That tells us something important about ordinary dreams. They feel real not only because they are vivid, but because the part of you that would doubt them is quiet. The dream is not winning an argument. The argument never starts. This is why dream logic is so strange. Your old friend is also your brother. The hallway is also an airport. You're late for a class you never took. You can breathe underwater, but you're worried about being underdressed. The waking mind hears that and laughs. The dreaming mind says, yes, continue. There is another reason dreams can feel real after you wake. The body reacts before the story is fully gone. You wake with a racing heart. Your muscles are tense. Your mood has changed. You may not remember the plot, but the emotional residue remains. This creates a strange mismatch. Your waking brain says nothing happened. Your body says something happened. And for a few seconds, both are true in different ways. Nothing happened in the room, but something happened in your nervous system. The dream was not a real event in the outside world, but it was a real experience generated by a real brain, using real memory, real emotion, and real sensory machinery. That is why saying it was just a dream can feel wrong. It was just a dream. But your brain did not experience it as just anything. There is also the mystery of forgetting. How can a dream feel enormous at 5:47 in the morning and become almost impossible to describe by breakfast? Part of the answer is that creating an experience and storing a stable memory of that experience are different jobs. During dream-rich sleep, the brain is not in the same memory state as it is when you are awake, focused, and encoding the world around you. Some research even suggests that REM sleep may involve active processes that help the brain decide what not to store, though the details are still being studied. So the dream can be immersive without becoming durable. It can feel like a whole life and vanish like breath on glass. That vanishing can make the dream seem even stranger. You remember the intensity, but not the evidence. You remember that something mattered, but not what it was. And that is where dreams become uncanny. They leave behind the shape of a truth without always leaving the facts. But the safest scientific answer is still simple. Dreams can feel more real than life because your brain is still constructing reality, but now it is doing it with the outside world turned down, emotional circuits turned up, memory fragments loosened, and skepticism reduced. It is like virtual reality with the camera feed switched off. In waking life, the headset is constantly corrected by the world. In dreaming, the headset keeps running on internal signals, so the dream does not have to be true to feel real. It only has to be immersive enough that for a while, your brain forgets to ask where the world is coming from. And then you wake up. The ceiling returns. The room comes back. Your name, your body, your day, your life, all reassemble around you. But for a few seconds, the dream is still warm. Someone who was never there still feels close. A place that never existed still feels familiar. And the strangest part is not that your brain invented another world. The strangest part is that while you were inside it, it did the same thing waking life does. It gave you somewhere to be.